Welcome everybody to another episode of Circle of the Earth Fellowship Roundtable. We got another episode for y'all today, but of course, before we get into that, like always, we're gonna go ahead and get the say hello to all those that are here on the panel. So without further ado, oh, they don't have this full screen. Let's go ahead and pop that. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to be talking about NASA and the lies we are told. But again, before we get into that, we're going to say hello to the panel members. We got first up, we got our dear sister Marsha. Welcome, sister.
But boy, there's no end to the lies of NASA. So we'll do our best. Just no end.
Nope.
Since we live in a dome, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna get into so much. And I saw Deep. Who was it? Deep Hole said lies we were told by NASA. It should be an extremely long presentation. Totally, it will just be our normal 2 hours. But yeah, we could do infinite episodes on this topic because. Because of how much there is. But let's keep going. We got our dear brother Robert with us. Welcome, Robert.
Hello, everybody. Yep, we're going to be talking about NASA Space Agency and getting into about the occultist stuff they get into.
Oh yeah. Yep. There's a lot to it. A lot in there. So it's going to be fun. And then we got, last but not least, we got Kyle, Aetherial Creations. Welcome, brother.
Good to see everyone. This is obviously a big topic for our community, so I'd like to get to it.
Yeah. So I'm Vader Bear, guys, if you don't know. And before we're going to get started, we're going to do a little housekeeping. I'm modifying this so it's not so long. So I'm going to jump through it really fast. But I do have one thing I want to talk about. A comment that was left on the last video, and kind of I want to sum up that last video and explain why she's correct, but we didn't get. Anyways, let's get into it. So I'm gonna share a screen with everyone, including the. Here we go. Pop this up, and I need to see that. Sweet. All right, so first and foremost, thank you, shout out to Chris and Liz Bailey at Take on the World. They allow us to come onto their platform and share our puzzle pieces with their family. So we really do appreciate that. And of course, if you haven't, if you're on Take on the World and you haven't subscribed to our channel, we'd love any support. We are Circle of the Earth Fellowship, and we do this roundtable weekly on Saturdays, 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern. And we got lots of stuff there. I actually want to talk about this real quick. We actually just got number 7 of season 1 just got community guidelines striked. because one of our brothers was talking about their desire to kind of blend the lines of men and women, chemically, and so it got struck for a misinformation. Of course, if I said, the whole beer bug started with a man eating a bat, that wouldn't be misinformation. That would be mainstream media. So,
Was it on or in chat or comments?
it was in the video itself. It was one of our brothers talking. But anyways, as always, we read out the comments from the last video. Over on Take on the World, we got Moonglow saying thank you for always showing up and support. Stuff like comments, shares, likes, subscriptions, all really do help the community grow. So we do appreciate any of those that go out of their way to do so. And then over on Circle of the Earth, we got Ice Queen Empress here, and she was saying, I was in the live chat trying to help, and you blocked me and shadow banned me. What is this about? You can talk about all this if you want, but we have no solutions. You are no help. God sees everything. And you know what, sister? I completely agree with you. And at the end of this housekeeping, I'm going to finish up last week. Unfortunately, last week we had a ton of Grabble. Like, go through it. We were constantly getting buffering and all these issues that we don't typically have. But of course, talking about subjects like this on YouTube, we're gonna get some pushback, unfortunately. And so I'm gonna jump over to that real quick, and then we'll finish out the rest of the housekeeping. No, we'll do it the other way. So Discord and our merch store, both of those links are in the description. It's a way to join the community or to support it. We use Bible Gateway and Bible Hub and Bible Hub. Oh, oops, didn't mean to do that. Bible Gateway and Bible Hub as great resources. Another great one is sacredtext.com. They have all the apocryphal books. Now, of course, use discernment when you read these. Personally, I love the Book of Enoch and Book of Jubilees. And again, I know I keep saying this, but soon we will be doing readings of the 12 patriarchs. So I'm excited to do that. And to finish up, when we were talking to Ice Empress, this is what I wanted to read at the end of the stream, because you're right. Like, we have all of these things around us. We got all of these lies and things in front of us. So what does this mean? Well, of course, when it comes to Hollywood, don't support, support what you like. Don't support what you don't like. So I know a lot of these, a lot of people with their families, they go see these movies, and I'm going to say I do too, but I try to support the ones that, at least have something positive about them, or not support them, but, I do participate in movies. I think movies are a good way to kind of glean information that they're kind of hiding from the public. Usually what they like to do is they take truth and then they mix it with fantasy, and so it blurs the line and brings confusion on what is true and what is not. So of course, I have two scriptures here I'd like to read. This is from 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I'm stating something we already know. Of course, it's stated in scripture, but let's go ahead and read it. So 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7, it says, "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the work of the evil one, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness and unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. And so, this type of behavior, this type of thing, well, where is it coming from? And of course, there's lots of sources, but here in 2 Corinthians 11, we have this little segment. It says, "For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And no marvel, for the evil one himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing that if his ministers also be transformed as ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works." So, we are getting people who, come in the name of Christ. We are getting people, we're getting the evil one himself, presenting himself as an angel of light. And so, of course, we shouldn't be shocked that the people who claimed righteousness are the ones who are going to be, their end shall be according to their works. And we see this deceitful these workings again echoed here, right? For it says, "For the mystery of iniquity doth already work." And so what I wanted to finish off with the last part of the Hollywood rituals is, yeah, guys, they're doing all these things and they are going to give an account of all their deeds and words. So what do? We fight against the system? Do we rebel against the system? I say, my opinion is that we pray for these people, that in these dark corners, we pray for the children in these mansions. We pray that they might have refuge or be able to flight and escape, and that all the evil workings, right, are done in according to the Father's plan. And so, of course, we should be remember these things, and we should talk about these things. And other than that, people are going to do what they're going to do, and we can try to expose what we can expose. But at the end of the day, it's all in the Father's hands. So don't be fearful of this, guys. Don't let them. Part of accepting the offer of that they're trying to give you is, one, you either love them, or two, you either hate them. Either side of that coin, you're accepting the offer and you're starting to participate in the world. So just some food for thought. Yeah. So go ahead and end that screen share, and I'm going to bring up another one, and we'll go ahead and get started into the show itself. For the mods out there, if you think that someone is kind of pushing the bounds or being rude, I would understand, giving them a 300-second thing, but just, don't be so hasty to cut people's opinions off, right? Because we all, even though we all have similar beliefs, right, we all vary here and there. So I want everyone to have a voice that wants to have it, definitely on the channel. They can disagree, just no bad mouthing or slandering a person's name or something. Don't question people's salvation. Don't things like that. Yeah. We don't want to allow. But just if they disagree, or they kind of have a different view in the way we should do it. Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So let's get into it, guys. So of course we're talking about NASA and the lies that we are told. And guys, how many lies are we told? An infinite amount, a never-ending amount. It seems like every day, every week, we are getting new NASA headlines about asteroids, or about Mars exploration, or about radio signals and all this jazz. But if we go all the back way where it started, at least within the modern, electronical age, it started with the United States moon program and the 1969 Apollo 11 mission. And so we're going to focus on that and some peoples and groups around that. Yeah, it should be a really fun one. We're gonna watch a lot of videos together, stop in between and kind of talk about some of the points that are made. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into it. So we're gonna start here. Many may know within the community, but if you don't know, definitely if you know someone who doesn't know, definitely share this video out so that they can get a good idea of where to start looking. But here we have Stanley Kubrick, who was a very well known director of movies in this interview. So there are people out there that claim that this isn't original video, that it's been altered. But we're not gonna just censor it because some people disagree. We'll let you watch it and decide. So let's go ahead and check this out together, guys.
I was gonna say, like, why not CNN but what? Who cares? White Choose Right is about a future movie or something coming out, or
No.
okay?
It's not about any movie. It's not about the movies I've made in the past. It's a confession of sorts.
Okay. I mean, about you cheated on your wife, you
I
plagiarized,
would never do that. No.
plagiarized something.
It's about a movie I made that nobody is aware of, even though they've seen it. Is that
Okay.
intriguing? Do I have you intrigued?
Well, I mean, see if I understand what you said. It's about a movie you made, no one knows you made. Is that what you said?
That's right. It's a production.
Like, some of you put like you did.
But
put your name on,
everyone
like, at the end,
sees,
you put,
everyone
like, a
has
fake
saw it,
name.
but no
Oh,
one
no,
knows.
I made it.
Like Alan Smithy, like that.
That's
type of
right.
thing?
No, I didn't. There was no name put on it.
Why? Why would there be no credits for me?
Why would there be no credit, Stanley?
Because there are some things that you just can't.
Why can't you talk about it, Stanley?
Okay.
Come on, Stanley.
Perpetrated
All right, I'm listening.
A huge fraud,
Okay.
which I am now about to detail.
Oh, I'm ready.
Involving
So excited.
the United States government.
Ooh, United States government. It's getting juicy.
All right.
Come on, Stanley.
And I'm sure you've heard the rumors.
The moon.
That's right. That the moon landing was fake.
Oh, I'm ready.
The
Ooh.
moon landings all were
Ooh,
fake.
United States government. It's juicy. I'm getting background from you, Marcia.
Oh.
No worries. All right,
You
let's get into it.
Ready with the soundboard there, Robert?
You're serious, and
Be ready.
okay.
Soundboard
I'm
things.
dead serious.
Because I only have this certain amount of time with you, and I'll talk about whatever you want. This isn't some type of joke or
No, it's not.
film
joke.
within a film thing.
Not a joke. Nope.
Okay.
The conspiracy theorists were right on this occasion.
Whoa,
I don't know about Paul McCartney's death.
Whoa, guys. Did you hear that? Conspiracy theorists were right on this one. Which one is that? The moon? Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. All right, let's keep watching.
This they were right about.
Okay. Why in God's name would I don't know what to ask you first. Why the hell, if you're telling the truth, why would you do it? Why are you telling me? I mean, what the?
Don't you think it's important for people to know the truth?
Yeah, yes,
They
certainly.
had a massive fraud, an unparalleled fraud perpetrated against them. They should know.
Okay.
I mean, they're already suspicious of the government. They may as well have their suspicions confirmed.
Exactly,
Okay.
Stanley. Look at all
And
this
this-
gravy
why now?
he's
You're almost
ladling.
30-year anniversary. What took so long? Why? If this is true,
Well,
why?
I'll go into that. It has to do with personal
Okay.
evolution and influences.
And, well,
I'll go into that.
is that why you look a little haggard right now? 'Cause you
That's
look
a little-
worn.
that's a-
offense, like,
Well, also, yeah, because I haven't been.
Think about what he was saying. What he was really saying there, guys, is for 30 years he had that weight on his shoulder. And,
Oh, wow.
the thing with lies, right, is you got to keep them straight, right? It's something he had to, I'm guessing, on multiple occasions, had chances to bring it up. And maybe he did to people personally. but as a as a mass reveal. And I think he, we'll get into it a little bit more. We're not going to watch this entire thing, but I do, before we leave this, we're going to kind of sidestep with Stanley Kubrick and kind of talk about how he shuttled this mortal coil. And but yeah, let's keep watching this for now.
And taking care of myself too well. I've been drinking a lot, but
Is that because of the stress of this?
of course, stress, guilt, just conflict of all kinds.
Wow. I mean, so you feel bad?
So I want to stop again. Think about this, guys. Like, we've all been here, right? We've all said lies that people believed. And when you say a lie and someone believes it, the guilt doesn't go away, right? It doesn't go away. You still know you did that bad thing, and then you lied about not doing that bad thing. And imagine just doing that to one person. Well, he's done it to the entire world. And he's been, holding in this lie that he told, helped create to the entire world, and literally shifted our history, right? Think about how much money, how much compounding lies and deceit have all been created from this starting point. And it's quite saddening, and you can see it on his face, and you can hear it in his voice that it truly hurts him that he did this. So, thoughts, anybody?
Yeah, it totally makes sense that at the end of his life, he would expose this kind of thing, because throughout it, I mean, there would be so much at risk. It would obviously be a life sentence immediately. You would be put to death.
Yeah.
So.
And if I don't know if it'd be, who the sentence would be. It definitely we wouldn't be by a judge, right? Someone would give him
be
a life
executed
sentence.
immediate.
Yeah.
It was a metaphor. Yeah.
And if they couldn't do that for whatever reason, then they would degrade his character and come out with all of this stuff about how he did all these horrible things in the past, which he may or may not have done, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen more to Stanley
About this clearly. I mean, this is not.
I do feel bad about it. I also feel proud of it. It's a terrible conflict.
Because you've pulled off one of the greatest hoaxes ever because of
because I made a film, if you want to call it a film, which I consider to be my masterpiece.
And you can't take credit or even talk about it
Well,
you are now.
I'm hereby taking credit.
Right, but you can't actually go out. You're doing when people see this, you'll be dead.
Until 10 years.
Right, for 15, yeah.
After my death.
So you can't talk to Roger Ebert about it. Does that frustrate you?
I have to pay the consequences for the decision that I made many years ago to go along with this.
Like a deal with the devil.
It's Faustian, to be sure.
Dang.
And is that why you got such power in Hollywood? I mean, that would explain.
You'll be the best director ever, but no one will ever know you made it.
Yes.
So they said, do this moon thing, and we'll give you.
When I made Spartacus, I didn't have this kind of freedom.
Right.
But I have it now.
So what came first, the genius or the fraud?
NASA's doing.
Well, what came first, the genius or the fraud? I mean, did the fraud enable the genius, or was the genius released
I'd like
the fraud?
to think the genius came first.
Right.
But some frauds.
Oh, how dare you!
Are hard to bypass, especially if you have an ego and you're an artist, and you're presented with a challenge, the likes of which you've never seen and will probably never see again. You don't even think of the morality of it. You're just completely swept away by the flattery of it and the juices inside you, which make you want to do it as the artist you are innately. You don't think of anything else.
What a conflict. I mean, gosh, I can't imagine being presented with that opportunity. On one hand, I really would want to do it, but then I'd probably say, well, I'm committing a crime and lying and
It depends, but my guess would be, no, if you're good, you would do it. I discussed this with Levinson, Barry Levinson.
right.
I discussed it with,
Oh, he made Wag the Dog, right? Yeah.
yes, Spielberg, of all people, believe it or not, yes.
So wait, Wag the Dog.
Coppola, Scorsese, even Woody Allen I discussed. There isn't one of them who wouldn't do this.
Right. And did that? So Barry Levinson must have been influenced by this whole. He must have known. So that's Wag the Dog is about this whole idea. I mean, that's why.
The character was named Stanley.
Right, and he gets killed at the end because he demands credit.
Killed at the
All right.
Tell me about the making of it. So, was it difficult? I mean, committing the greatest fraud, what you want to call it. I'm not saying it's a.
We'll go a little bit
lot
more.
about that at the time.
I know, so I'm not making moral judgment, but making this huge, ambitious, technical faux landing, was it harder than 2001? Was it very difficult? I mean, what was the experience like? Artistically, practically, emotionally, what was it like
Nothing
for
was
you?
harder than 2001.
So 2001 was harder than faking the moon landing?
It actually was.
Because you learned things on 2001 and...
Yes. I mean, 2001 was very ambitious. And that's not to say that faking the moon landing was not ambitious, but yeah, I learned things making 2001, which is why I got...
And think about this, like with 2001, right? He's coming up with this fantasy world, right? That's presented as fantasy. Whereas with the moon mission, it is whatever is presented as real, is presented as fact. So I feel like you actually have a little leeway there because people don't know what it's like to be on the moon and what it would look like to jump up and down. People don't know what it would look like to fly over it, right? So there's so much stuff that they can add. Like he said, he had a freedom with it that he didn't have with others, because fictional stories have to make sense, right? And so, yeah, it's a very interesting concept. All right, let's watch a couple minutes of this, and then we will move on to the next thing.
this gig in the first place, right?
Right, that makes sense. So what was the
But
experience
it was easy for me because, well, first of all, I didn't think a whole lot about the morality of it. As I said, if I had, I might have been more hesitant, more stifled in my work, but I didn't, and I could see that Neil was actually. He was bothered by it.
more than Buzz Aldrin or anyone else involved?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
About
Because in
what?
a way, everything was going to center around him. He was the one who was supposed to come down off the ladder and announce the step for mankind and what have you. He sensed that this was going to be a life-changing experience for him, and I mean on a major scale. Actually, he was rather tortured by it the rest of his life.
Really? I mean, is that why you think of interviews?
Yes, and in fact, that actually began to affect my own perception of it, watching what happened to him.
Okay. In what way? Just seeing the deterioration of him? And I mean, was he depressed or?
He was depressed. He was drinking heavily, bitter, scared, just phobic, avoiding people.
And that guy Bart Sibrel or something tried.
All right, so we're gonna stop that video here, and I think it's gonna be another little, or it's gonna be a great segue into what we're gonna watch next. Yeah, you know, when Stanley's talking about that, I don't know about y'all, but to me, it doesn't seem fake. It seems like he genuinely knows what was going on with the astronauts, how Buzz, was way more receptive to the lying. part of it, and he kind of got that center stage, seemingly got that center stage because of that difference of one it being affected by morality and one not. And so, you know, but seeing
Who was the one?
Go ahead.
Who was the one who wouldn't? Would do no more interviews after.
That was Neil.
Okay, Neil
Yep.
Armstrong.
Yep. And you can see like all those things that Stanley was saying later in his life. He didn't want to be around people. He was drinking. He was dealing with these issues. Well, you know, if this was real, right? Well, then we should have some evidence showing this type of behavior from these gentlemen. And so I'm going to show just that. But what were you going to say, Kyle?
I said I agree. Yeah. I was thinking that while you were playing it was that their mannerisms ever since that, from as soon as they aired it and they were interviewed, were always strange. Every single astronaut that was involved in this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's so this is the Apollo 11 post-flight press conference. This is like an hour and 20 long. Of course, we're not going to watch it, but we're going to watch the opening and kind of them get into some of the questions, and definitely pay attention to their interactions, to their you know, what they kind of do. So let's go ahead and pull that up and get it playing. Seems like it's going to be way loud, so I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Just quickly, we all know now that the Earth's atmosphere extends past the moon per the science. So it totally makes sense that we have an eagle landing on the moon. Anyways.
Eagle has landed.
I'm kind of nervous. Okay. So we've seen their interaction up to this point, guys. They just went to the freaking moon. No one else in history has ever came close to doing anything like this. The closest thing was sending a monkey around the globe, okay? And we went from a monkey around and a dog around the globe to 3 men going to the moon, playing golf, and coming home. So
And
let's
they're
get into it. All right, let's see. Look at how fidgety they are. I'm just gonna look at these papers. I don't know what else to do. I can't look anybody in the eye because I am such a liar. I'm gonna look down because I don't want to look at anyone's eyes either. The excitement on these men's face for doing something that no one else has ever done. Dude, they look like they're waiting at a doctor's office.
You guys just about to say?
For a rectum exam, like literally. They are not excited about being here.
That's good.
Just got back from the moon. Right after this interview, you're going to have a rectal exam.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the
Hello.
Manned Spacecraft Center. This is the Apollo 11 press conference. The format today will consist of a 45-minute presentation by the Apollo 11 crew, followed by question and answers. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Apollo 11 crew, astronauts Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins, Edwin Aldrin. Neil?
It was our pleasure to have participated in one great adventure.
One great
An adventure
adventure.
that took place not just in the month of July, but rather one that took place in the last decade. We all here and
Oh my
people
gosh.
listening in today had the opportunity to share that adventure over its developing and unfolding in the past months and years. It's our privilege today to share with you some of the details of that final month of July.
It's so awkward, man.
It is.
The highlight for the three of us of that decade.
It's like the guy just found out. It's like the guy just found out he's having a child with a prostitute. You know what I mean? He is not pumped about it.
Yeah, it's like the worst day in
And
his life, and he has to tell it in front of people.
yeah, and he says the highlight of our life, you know, and yet he's as stoic and
This is the highlight of
Of
our
our
lives. No one has ever done something this cool. Oh god. All right, let's keep watching this. This is like when you watch sitcoms and like there's parts where it's so awkward, it's like you want to shut the show off. That's what this is like.
Yeah, this whole thing. Yeah.
From the format of past press conferences and talk about the things that interested us most, in particular the things that occurred on and about the moon.
On and about the moon.
We will use a number of films and
Look at this
and
guy's
shots
face.
which most of you have already seen, and with the intent of pointing out some of the things that we observed.
Guys, we're totally wrong. It has nothing to do with them about faking the moon mission. It has everything to do with he just has stage fright, right? He can get on a rocket and be blasted off 236,000 miles. That gets his heart, you know, that he's totally smooth through. But standing in front of a whole bunch of people lying, that's where he has the problem.
Which one is this one that's speaking?
This is
That's
Buzz.
Neil.
That's
Is that
Neil.
Buzz?
On the
Oh, sorry.
No, but-
This is Neil Armstrong. Sorry.
be
Okay,
obvious
thank you. I thought that was Neil.
to those of you who are looking at them here from the surface of Earth. The flight, as you know, started promptly,
Oh.
and I think that was characteristic of
You
Of all
can
the
tell
ones
it's
in the flight.
real because it looks so fake.
the Saturn.
Fake.
Was one magnificent ride
You can tell they're serious because of how awkward they are.
into Earth orbit and on a trajectory to the moon.
Wait, real quick.
Our
Did that trajectory take them through the Van Allen radiation belt?
Oh,
a
yeah.
belt of
No,
intense
no,
radiation?
No, it wasn't there yet.
Oh,
Oh,
that's right. It hadn't been discovered yet, so they
Yeah.
went through it and it must have not done anything.
It grows and shrinks.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, they had all those months and years, that whole decade, to figure that out, but you know, maybe they just knew and they just went through that hole.
Well, that's why they only did it between 69 and 73.
our memory of
Also,
that
during the
actually
time
differs
Nixon was
little
president.
from
Yeah, it must come in like a millennia, every millennia. That's why we haven't been able to get back to the moon, guys. It's
It's like Haley's comment.
Well, they
you know,
lost the
Hey, it's
technology.
like Harry's comment. Yeah, that's right. They lost it all.
and it's a
Well, then
it
you
is
know-
a guys. It is a painful
Painful process.
process to build it back.
Well, I saw that Jill with those stacks of papers, books,
Hmm.
and she had.
Yeah, I actually heard that
Well-
they used all the tapes of all the
Yeah,
trajectory to tape over Friends, so they could all watch that back on their VCR later.
Well, it's much easier to do the real thing than it is to fake it.
Yeah, that's
It'd
true.
be so hard to fake all the data that they lost. So,
Yeah, I
That's why
know.
they weren't taping over your wedding video. Jeez.
Yeah, with like commercials,
Yeah.
just like recording commercials. Yeah, it's so preposterous. All right, let's keep going.
The reports that you have all heard from those previous Saturn V flights, and those the previous
Saturn.
flights served us well
Ooh.
in preparation for this flight in the boost as well as the subsequent phases. We would like to skip directly to the translunar coast phase and remind ourselves of the long chain of events that actually permitted a landing, starting with...
Dude, all these guys, if they went to the moon, would be on the top of their seats like Tom Cruise, yelling and shouting. Not sitting there like looking at the desk and looking awkwardly to the
Right.
side.
right.
yeah, it would have been hard to keep their mouths shut about anything
Yeah.
that happened.
It's almost,
Well,
monotone.
they're afraid not to reveal government secrets. So they're restrained.
I'm just saying, guys, like when you get a new car, you're so excited. You want to show everyone. You want to show all your family, right?
Yeah.
When you see a really good movie, you go and say, hey, you guys, you got to watch this movie. These guys are not excited whatsoever. Someone pooped in their cereal this morning. That's the only, yeah, they went to the moon, but it just so happens that right before they came on stage, they were all super pumped about eating some Frosted Flakes, and then they discovered that there was poop in each of the bowls, and that's why that's why they have attitude right now, right? Because who else?
Boy, you have some great analogies there.
All right, let's keep going.
The undockings, the transposition and docking sequence.
Struggling.
This was our first look at the magnificent machinery which had been behind us up until this point, the booster. Of course, the first and second stages had long since separated, but this shows the LEM nestled inside the third stage, the S4B, after the translunar...
Wait, Lim was there? I thought Lim was in the White House with JFK. How is Lim going to the moon? I joke. Look up Lim, JFK.
Maneuver was an interesting combination of manual and automated techniques in that we programmed the onboard computer to make the turnaround, and then these final maneuvers were made completely manually. As I approached the LEM, I had an easy time because I had a docking target, which is not too clearly visible here, which allowed me to align the probe and the drogue, which is the dark spot you see on the upper right. During this time, I also checked out the proper vehicle response to my stick inputs, and here shortly you'll see the actual docking somewhat speeded up.
Of course, they talk about
There's the point of contact, and in just a second you'll see a second right there.
I'd love to see the animation that they're showing here.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're gonna cut this off. There's a lot of more interesting things to point out in this interview, so definitely go check it out. It's the Apollo 11 post flight interview. Interesting that they call it a post flight interview when they weren't flying, right? They were what is that? Relatively moving compared to the universe. Like, it gets dumb. But yeah, so this was, not the first lie told, but definitely one of the biggest. And as we saw from Stanley, that indeed, this whole mission was forgery. You can tell by, as we said, Stanley said that Neil took this really hard, and you could see him, guys. You could see him up there, knowing now that, from the perspective of Stanley and seeing the struggles that he went through, you can now look at this interview and see it on his face. You can see it plainly on his face that he is really struggling with the charade. He doesn't want it. It's stolen valor for all intents and purposes, because he's getting, credit for, this incredible feat that he didn't do. And it changes his whole life. And imagine Stanley, right, being the director of it all. Well, imagine the star actors, right? The star actors always get more limelight than the director, right? So the cameraman, all the people in the background that made the moon mission video film a success, they got no credit for it. The people that really got the credit are these three men here, and you can see how excited they were to have the credit of the first men on the moon, which is very the lack thereof. All right, let's switch over to this another one. This one is only, we're not gonna watch this, but this is a good compilation of stuff, of a whole bunch of lies that we are told from NASA. So I'm gonna pull this up. And we'll go ahead and watch this one and talk about throughout it. Why does NASA lie to us?
Money.
M-O-N-E-Y.
Well,
That is why. Zenith. Oh, well, look, it's not right there, but it's right there.
Look at this. Look at this. People actually believe that there is a car floating around out in space.
Normal tires.
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible.
Yes.
And
I mean, can
you can
you
tell
imagine?
it's real because it looks so
Normal.
fake, honestly. We'd have way better CGI
Wow.
if it was fake.
This is live on the air, okay? I'm going to zoom in on the
Normal
Earth
tires.
in Photoshop. You see the Earth? Okay, I'm going to go to Image,
Shout out, Rob
Adjust,
Skiba. We miss you, brother.
Levels, and I'm going to bring the levels up. Uh-oh. What is that? Why is there a square box around the Earth?
Sorry, guys. Something's going crazy right now. I'm going to pause it, let it buffer a little bit. It's always good to hear that man's voice.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of truth. That man led a lot of people to a lot of truth, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Wish he was still around. Let's make sure. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you can do that on every one of those images, I believe.
Oh, most
Even
of
after
them,
they
yeah.
scrubbed them and redid them, you can still, it's not, they didn't do that great of a Photoshop cover up, I guess.
Nope.
Need better artists.
Well, and to be fair, they've had like Photoshop since forms of it since like the 1900s, right? So most people didn't know that Photoshop was anything in 1969. They thought when you had an image, it was an image, right?
Right.
How could it not be an image? Look, I'm seeing it. It's a photo. So they didn't realize that it wasn't a photo, that it was an image.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
All right, let's see if this will play for us again.
It is Photoshop, but it's has to be. It is Photoshop, but it's has to be.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
Oh, God.
What truth? That you are a slave, Neo.
It's almost like those clouds are
Else, you were
duplicated.
born into bondage.
Oh, does that
born
seem
into
like...
a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
Ooh, weird. It's like nothing's there.
Big box and no cars.
So,
It's
this is
so
smart.
cool that antenna to
And
communicate.
that enlists the help of a friend.
Oh look,
Oh.
guys.
Next segment, I'm going to show you how
I'm
NASA
sorry.
grabs objects and
Guys, they have way better technology. They have way better CGI, right? Or
Yeah.
or they can teleport solid objects from, like a teleporter from down from the earth, and they just beam it up, and boom, they have a toy appear right in front of her that she can manipulate. It's almost as if it's virtual or augmented reality.
Yeah, that guy stuck a toothbrush to his neck, I believe.
Yep. Hey, they got technology that we don't know about.
Oh yeah.
They can do these things.
3D space, rotates them around, manipulates them. They can do this with water, with cloth, anything. And the cool thing about it is we can take what they're doing, what they're seeing with their contact virtual reality augmented lenses, and put that on a separate video layer live.
Oh, it's not rendering that special object. Ooh, what's
Okay, I have a
that?
lot of Tim Peake screw-ups, but this one here, the system glitches, the software does not track his hand properly, and Tim slips his hand underneath his other fingers, which is tightly holding onto the mic, which would be impossible.
Oh, where'd your head go, bro? Oh.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly. Like, we'd have way better CGI if it was fake.
Guys, it's just, just remember the technology came a long ways, right? Remember back then they could make a phone call to a landline, right? Whereas now we destroyed that technology. So now what we have to do is this, it's the only way. I don't know if y'all ever caught this before, but yeah, here this arrow's pointing it out. This is George W.H. Bush, and you can literally see that normal astronaut that we see behind a blue screen. Weird.
Oh.
Weird. It's literally right there.
And he's doing actually, I believe, the same video with the tennis ball, looking like a water, as what we see later on in some of the NASA clips.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's right there. And I don't think this was a slip up. I don't know about y'all, but I'm more on the lines that they do this and they're openly mocking people. They're openly mocking people by showing it straight to their faces what's actually going on. But they're so focused on the, this dude that they don't even see what's right in front of their face. All right, let's keep going.
I think you're right.
Just another example of NASA faking space. Let's take a look here at this supposed image of Jupiter. Nothing more than CGI fakery. The supposed auroras. Again, at NASA's official website, where it states Hubble captures vivid auroras in Jupiter's atmosphere. Here's the problem. The date of June 30th, 2016. Now take a look at this. Another so-called official image of Jupiter. This one's from back in 2014. You see the problem here? Now let's take a closer look at the supposed two images provided from NASA of Jupiter. All the clouds are in the same exact position.
How
side by side. People...
RV, how dare you? Don't you know that light takes like a really long time? So
light years away.
Yeah, it's light years away, right? So it changed, but we just couldn't tell because we were so far away.
Is that why that red spot always faces us and we don't ever not see it?
Yeah. It's Jupiter's like signature mark. It's like showing a pair of Nikes but not showing the swoosh.
Made in space.
Without that, it's just another planet.
No, it actually wasn't made in it wasn't made in space. It was made in a Hollywood basement.
Made in a Hollywood basement, turns out.
People can't see what's taking place here with NASA. Nothing more than fakery. I mean, give me a break. This is a complete insult. If you have a brain in your head.
Exactly, an insult, a mockery. What we see, what they tell us we should see. What we see, what we actually see.
It's like you're in a studio, maybe in Omaha, Nebraska or something. The shot is so clear. Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
See her hair?
I don't know. We're going to do something for you.
Boom! Proven, look at her hair. We know now that she is in space because of her hair.
Rate it with Aquanet.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God. Because, we hairs, we don't have even problem with hairs in our own tubs, right? Like they don't cause any type of problems. But in a, clean environment that can't be, regularly cleaned because they can't open the door and put the dustpan outside. Long hair seems like it would be an issue. But at least we, the offset of the dangers of the hair clogging the systems and letting us know that they're in space because of her hair, that's the trade-off.
It's kind of like when they just fling water and other fluids around, all the electrical wires and stuff, Same reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can do that. Watch this.
Yep.
Watch this.
Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
Nope.
Nope. Get that harness.
Nope.
I'm throwing my water, bro.
Oh, that's how gravity works, guys.
Gravity.
Like when you bend over, like those two spots in your back, gravity pulls them up. It looks like a harness, but it's not. And that same thing. Because they're floating, it looks like a harness. It looks like the gravity's just not flowing down. Oh, whoa, oops, gravity went on.
Oops. The harness, the wire breaks. Is that real?
It looks real.
Oh.
He's really on harnesses. Ooh, what's that? What's that? Ooh, what's that? Someone missed some Photoshop.
Hi, I know. Can you do a somersault right now?
Why can't you do a cartwheel?
Oh, what is that getting in your way, bro? What is that? Something snagging on you, bro? Oh, go, move. Oh, yeah, move the wire. Oh.
Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
See the hair? See the hair?
See the hair?
And they just start making stuff up. Yeah. Like that Neil Armstrong guy. Have you seen him on the talk shows? Neil Armstrong, you mean the first man to walk on the moon? Talk about a fish story. Yeah. Man, and they're buying it. Oh, yeah.
So many times during spacewalks outside the International Space Station, we can see air bubbles rising up. Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Can you be more specific?
Could you be more specific?
Can you be more specific?
Guys, that's just debris from the plane, from the spacecraft, obviously.
It's paint particles. Sometimes we just drown because of water.
So yeah, like a lot of times during the footage, the NASA footage, you can see bubbles coming up out of the helmets or kind of from underneath you. How do you explain bubbles in space?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. Now sometimes you get water in the helmet, and it comes either from sweat or from the cooling garments. And
ooh, rubbing those hands, rubbing those hands. Ooh, those air bubbles,
Could it be that you're filming in an underwater pool and you're not really out
Ooh,
there?
underwater pool! How dare you! That's just where they train, guys, because weightlessness in space is equivalent to being in a zero buoyancy pool.
That makes total sense.
I just thought of a clip I wouldn't mind if that little 6th grader that asked Buzz Aldrin.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Yeah, so that part right there, someone mentioned it earlier where they were saying that Neil wouldn't even swear on the Bible that he went, and when he was like, well, if you're not going to sign it, you're a liar and you're a coward, and you saw right there, drunk Armstrong just hit, just socked that dude. Oh my God. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Why haven't we been back to? Well, what did that 6th grader ask?
She said,
"Why we haven't been to the moon for so long?"
Yeah.
Well,
why haven't we been back?
Because we haven't got there, and that's the problem.
Well, he goes. Well, the truth is,
well, that's the way it is,
and that's the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So ridiculous. So yeah, like this again, like we haven't even made it halfway through the video, guys, and it is chock full of these things. And I don't know about y'all, but one of my biggest things when it came to, oops, wrong one. Let's get rid. There we go. One of my biggest things when coming to the truth of the earth was the preponderance of evidence, right? Like, you show me a liar lying one time, okay. Twice, okay. 3 times, yeah. But thousands and thousands of clips and images and videos that have been shown that they're fox to that they're fake, to show that they, you know, have been manipulated, that CGI components or CGI can very easily replicate what you are seeing. And, you know, we got such stupid red herrings, such stupid straw men where, you know, they're like, hey, look at the hair. You know, it looks like y'all are, you know, in Missouri on, you know, in some studio. Are y'all really up in space? Yeah, look at her hair. Like the types of things that they use as defenses against what is obviously is obviously something's wrong with it. You know, we're seeing something there.
You know, it's strange, but before I was awake or anything like that, I did always wonder why the rocket would go up and then curve.
Yep.
I go, why is it doing that? And I thought, well, they've got it figured out. So
do you know why they say that?
Why?
They
Because
say
the Earth is spinning underneath
the
it.
Earth
So
is spinning. It's
Oh.
actually going. That's actually a straight line, but because we are moving at 1,000 miles, it appears to be a curve.
What's the word that they give though? It has reached its, I can't remember the word.
Escape velocity.
No,
funny how that
another word,
works.
Huh?
I said, funny how that works with rockets, but it doesn't work with helicopters or high altitude, balloons or anything like that.
Yep. And it works for something going so fast, but it doesn't work, like you said, hot balloon, something going so slow.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for
Apogee?
so long.
What was that, Robert?
Was it apogee or something like that?
I'm not sure, but you're saying like when they got to their highest point. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. It's preposterous. Yeah, a lot of people will say, look, you can see that, but they always have a lie ready to go, sitting in the wings to pull up to defend their lie that they just told. And we've literally seen this. If you look into it, how many times they have contradictory statements, right? Like they told us that like people right now who believe in a globe will tell you that gravity keeps our atmosphere right from just being sucked out. But yet they also have to believe the scientists that say the atmosphere is actually past the moon. So it reminds me of the beer bug where they would give us conflicting information over and over. And of course we know what they do. They're muddying the waters. They're bringing confusion and doubt. Okay. In the very beginning of this, I read, for their lawlessness is already at work, right? That that the people who do not believe the truth, but who love lies, they are going to believe this lie and they are going to perish because of their unrighteousness, as opposed to loving truth. And so, and again, with the other scripture that I read, these men appear as wise men, appear as righteous, good men, but yet their deeds show differently. And so, we have a just Father, and I'll leave it at that. But it's insane. So, do y'all want to keep watching this and kind of commenting on this, or do y'all want to go on to the more of the videos?
I'm cool with keeping watching this. It's gravy.
Okay, sweet. We'll keep watching this. I bet we can finish this and then move on to the next stuff. So hope y'all are enjoying. Please like, share, subscribe. That really does help the channel grow. And we do our goal here is to get more people here, because more people here at Circle of the Earth Fellowship, we believe that everyone was given pieces of the puzzle to this grand puzzle, and our objective is to get those people to come to the table, come to the after shows, come and talk with us. And where we differ in views, share your things, because iron sharpens iron. That requires heat, friction, and the removal of the material. So we all have to be willing to ego check our heart, to ego check our mind, and admit that or sometimes we got to forget the things that we think we know, right? And to grow and to learn. So I hope y'all are enjoying that. Appreciate the support. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle.
1986,
The shuttle Challenger exploded about 74 seconds after takeoff, killing all 7 astronauts inside. Or did it? It turns out that 6 of the 7 are still alive and kicking today. Ellison Onizuka claims to be his identical twin brother, Claude. Yeah, I've got an identical twin brother, Claude, too. The Challenger pilot, Mickey Smith, hasn't even bothered changing his name. He's now Professor Michael J. Smith of University of Wisconsin. Now, Krista McAuliffe was a bit of a sneaky one. She was the Challenger payload specialist, quite famous for being a teacher. It turns out during her astronaut days she was using her middle name, Krista, and now she goes by her first name, Sharon. The Challenger commander, Francis Richard Scobie, is now Dick Scobie, which sounds like a rather unpleasant disease. Judith Resnick, the Challenger mission specialist, again hasn't even bothered changing her name. She's a professor at Yale Law.
How dare you?
And finally, Ronald McNair.
How dare you desecrate the graves of these
yes,
honorable, brave individuals? Can I get a how dare you?
Oh, you can get a how dare you. And then, yes, hold on now.
How dare you?
I tell you what, just earlier this week at work, that I don't know why, but the Challenger came up during the break time, and one of the guys was like all upset. He's like, you know, Dick Burton, one of the radio show guys here, they started making fun of it. Like only a week after the Challenger, that was so wrong. And then, you know, it's going on being all upset about that. And says, well, you know that they're still alive. You know? You know,
oh,
so
really?
into all that stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's literally so ridiculous. All these lies. They just love it. They just love it.
Yeah. The lying liars and the lies they lie.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna finish this part, and then I got another little video about this little grabbler right here. And then we're gonna jump back to this video. So let's finish up this part, and then we will jump over and jump back.
Mission specialist claims to be his identical twin brother, Carl McNair. What are the odds?
So there I was, just minding my own business, looking at Google Earth, and this big...
All right. So I'm going to pull up this other video real quick. I don't know if y'all check this out, but Truther guy went and confronted this man. And I think it is this video. Nope, not that one yet. Not that one. Where is it? Here it is. So let's watch this real quick. Put it over here. I'm sorry y'all can't see that. It's so dumb that it does that. All right, here we go.
Saw a while back with YouTuber Stars Not Far 432 when basically he confronts Michael J. Smith, a professor at the University of Wisconsin, a topic I covered many times over the years with astronaut Judy Resnick and Professor Judy Resnick, as you see here, the similarities. Also Richard Scobie. But getting back on topic here, specifically with Michael J. Smith, YouTuber Stars Not Far 432 drove an hour just to question Michael J. Smith and the similarities, of course, with astronaut Michael J. Smith. And let's take a look at the clip itself.
Michael J. Smith is a professor emeritus at UW-Madison. Because I live in the Madison area, looking up Michael Smith had been on my to-do list for a while. Of course, you can't just call up and leave a voice message asking him if he's part of an evil scheme to deceive the sleeping masses. A better way would be to find him in person and ask him. So that's what I did. Is Challenger pilot Michael J. Smith alive and well? Take a look at the footage and let me know what you think.
Oh boy, I haven't seen this.
Hey there.
So
Hey, sorry to bother you.
Real quick before we get into it, everyone pay attention to this guy's you know, to this guy's mannerisms, just like we watched with the Aldrin and all them, right? There were cues to show that there was deception, and you'll see those exact same cues. So let's keep watching.
I was pulling out and I saw you. I just came by to. Are you Michael Smith?
Yeah.
Professor at university?
Retired.
Retired?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I just stopped by because there's this room. Are you aware of that? There's a rumor on the internet.
It's not me.
That people are saying.
He knows.
It's
He
not
knows.
me, obviously. I mean, anybody that looks at my background, looks where I was born, it's not me.
Okay. Because the government couldn't change any of those things. Look at this face right here, guys. He is being asked a direct question. He already knows what they're gonna. The question is, right? He's. It's not me. He didn't even say anything yet. It's an internet rumor, and he knows exactly what that rumor is. And look at his face. He looks down. He closes his eyes as he's presenting this information. So,
if that was a detective or some officer asking him those questions, those answers would have been very incriminating.
yeah, like if you ever watch like interrogations, like at, for different crimes or whatever, they actually use within criminal justice these type of cues to indicate deception. And so just like you said, Kyle, if he was in a court of law and he had this video showing his mannerisms when confronted with this information, it could totally be used in a court of law. So right on. Let's continue.
I mean, it's interesting that the Michael J. Smith that was the astronaut looks something like me when we were younger, but really not, if you really look at facial recognition.
You never been a pilot, never been in the military?
Nothing like that.
Huh.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's all.
And I don't respond to the emails I get. I get probably an email, maybe 2 a month.
Really?
And I got one guy that's been really hounding me, and I turned it over to the FBI.
Really?
I mean, it's bullshit.
Okay.
Another crazy theory.
Okay.
But that's, not me.
Guys, could you hear what he was about to say? Like, he literally was about to say conspiracy theory, but he couldn't get it out. That's what happens when you're lying, is you want to say the truth, but you have to stop yourself and revert it to the lie. And so you can see him doing this up and down. He can't look him into the eyes, but for a second at the most at a time. He's fidgeting in his pockets. He's, to me, that was also like a little threat to the guy he's talking to, saying, hey, like, I talked to the FBI about other people, kind of insinuating like, they know, so very interesting. All right, let's keep going.
I'm glad I wasn't him, but he's quite a guy.
Yeah.
But if you look at my career, you look at my CV that's online, all the stuff I've published, all that I've done, it's not even close to what that guy was.
Okay. Yeah, you just sure look a lot.
That guy is so much cooler than I am.
That's what we look like, 40 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting you came all out here.
I did. I drove an hour. It's,
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, take care.
Yes.
Compulsive
Better break down
liar
what we just
indeed.
saw. There's a lot to cover, and let's get started.
Saw you.
So we're not going to watch the breakdown, but
are you Michael Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's written all over his face, guys. You see it over and over, his uncomfortability of it. What's interesting is, like, as far as, so he's like, oh, these crazy people, I even had to talk to the FBI, but he was really quick to keep that conversation going. He was quick to, kind of prop up this other person, saying, wow, he was amazing. If only I had that background. It just so happens that we looked like each other, but not really, and I think that's more than enough to show that there is definitely some deception going on there.
Well, if he's turned over things that have been emailed to him over to the FBI, he would be kicking that guy off his property.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
I mean, get out.
He
The
wouldn't.
FBI would be there. Yeah.
He wouldn't be having a
What's
civil
your
conversation.
name? So I could turn. I'd ask what his name was, and
Wouldn't you be like going out to the street and grabbing his license plate
or something? Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, that's props to that guy that went and confronted him. You know, that I bet that was pretty nerve-wracking, and I bet being there, standing with him in front, I bet the deception was even more palatable. Right, like even more, he could feel it even more, right? Because it's something more spiritual than it is just, indicators. But yeah, quite interesting. All right, let's keep going with this other video.
No covered monstrosity is staring me in the face like, why is that covered in snow? So I keep digging a little bit deeper, and I finally get underneath this cloud cover here, and a few images pop up. And I say, oh, images, what are they? Oh, this is what you got, which I'm sure that looks familiar to you, right? Looks just like the pictures they give us of Mars. So I'm just kind of creeping around here and definitely noticing the same kind of undulation changes and same kind of rock, same kind of dirt. The only thing that's missing is that nice little red tint that they pay somebody $150,000 a year to put on there.
Oh my
so I'll
God.
keep kind of going through here and see if it...
It's almost like shot for shot. Ooh.
Yeah. So, I got another truck. Oh yeah, it says NASA. What's that say? Mars Project. I think I found out where Mars is, guys.
At some point in the future, we're going to look back and say, how did we do it without space?
This guy looks like he's on meth,
Kinds of
bro.
technologies that we're testing out on Space Station are definitely helping us with our goals of going beyond low Earth orbit.
Early in the next decade, a set of crewed flights will test and prove the systems required for exploration beyond low Earth orbit.
But
right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore.
As we get further away from Earth, we'll pass through the Van Allen belt, an area of dangerous radiation. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
Yeah, or they would
we
die.
must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
There's a small problem with going to the moon, and inch by inch, NASA is leaking out that they know that there's a problem there. It's called the Van Allen belts, high radiation belts of charged particles around Earth, and we don't know how to get through them, they say. Well, isn't that interesting, because there sure didn't seem to be a problem back in 1969.
The moon landing stopped in 1972 and we haven't been back. We haven't been beyond the Van Allen belts.
NASA admitted that it had lost the original footage of man's first steps on the moon.
Go to YouTube and watch a funny thing happen. It contains newly discovered evidence, which is part of the missing tapes, of outtakes from the first mission to the moon, of them falsifying a shot of being halfway to the moon.
For NASA to come out and say that all the tapes were erased, I mean, it's incredible. Geraldo, this isn't just one tape. This is reams of tape labeled Apollo 11 moon landing. Someone had to physically go and erase it. It's very challenging.
Scratch it out. Friends, season 1.
Challenging. The tape should be there. There should be plenty of evidence.
I mean, it's proof right there. This is an official NASA photo of the first Apollo 11 lunar module landing on the moon. I mean, it's right there. This is proof, man. It's the picture's right there. It's landing on the moon. But the only problem I have with this picture is that it's taken from the moon.
For those who know Owen Benjamin, it was actually Tyrone Shoelaces taking that photo. He was also the one who took the photo of them leaving. you know, the story goes that he's still there to this day. Real quick, I want to say, hey, well, welcome, BV. Good to see you, brother. Hope all is well. Hope you are ready for this comedy fest that we've been going through.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. You know I'm gonna love this.
Sweet. All right, I'm gonna take a second and do some shouting out to those who are in chat. Let me get rid of that. Come over here. Pull this up. Sweet. We got so many people here. We got Joy, welcome, sister. We got Madith Yahoo, welcome, brother. Red Pill Matrix, welcome, brother. Karen C, good to see you, sister. Hope all is well. We got Tyler Porter here, welcome, brother. Emissary of Elohim, welcome. Let's see, we got more. Oh, Karen C said, "Not Friends season 1." I know.
You know, funny, Vader. We were talking in her Bible study last night, and we were mentioning about Aquanet, and so that was a hairspray back then. That was this like lacquer.
Yeah. Welcome, Country Pumpkin. Good to see you. And if I missed anyone, welcome. I hope y'all are enjoying the episode. But yeah, let's keep going. Pull this back up. And let's get it going.
People who believe they saw the landing on the moon because they heard it on the radio.
Bingo.
Oh my God.
Whoa, different shade?
Yes.
Well, guys, duh, because you don't realize it's because there's no atmosphere on the moon, even though that the Earth's atmosphere goes past the moon. And so the shapes actually, they don't stay the same because the lack of atmosphere. So obviously, guys.
They had the slip-on boots. They had the boots that slipped down over the boots.
Yeah.
They had the tread.
Oh, it's a little silverfish on his head. Oh, look, boom.
Silverfish. Yeah, that was his soul.
There's a skull escaping from his body.
Hey, how come that map or that flag isn't moving?
There's a picture of the INSAT actually being deployed from the spacecraft.
Oh, this is a good one.
In the background, there was a guy in the background, man.
Did they spin that, or is it spinning by itself?
There he is.
Someone in the background. There's a guy moving in the background.
Take your hat off, dude.
They're in the frame.
Again, guys, the Earth's atmosphere goes past the moon. That's why we have wind. That's why he can have a helmet that swivels, because he just needs just a little bit more oxygen, to survive. All right, let's keep watching this. Hysterical. It's CGI because it has to be.
Let's go. Well.
And I'll tell you, just if
Oh,
nothing
there's
else,
so many
here's why
things.
you can tell they're not fake.
Oh,
Just to
one
create
on
the
guy.
paperwork. That amount of paperwork would make faking it prohibitively expensive. No one can afford to generate that much.
Guys, again, like Kyle was saying before, it would cost more money and be more difficult to fake it than to actually go to the moon. Oh my god.
That much documentation.
All of that happened in a little town called York, Maine, across the United States from where we're talking to you right now. Across the United States from where we're talking to you right now.
My research of the last year has led me to the conclusion that not even low Earth orbit is possible, that the International Space Station is a hoax, and all manned space travel is fake. First though, let's have a look at the International Space Station. I want to talk about some of the anomalies I see there. For the inside of the International Space Station, there are a couple of zero-gravity tricks that they use to fake it. The first is they have a complete mock-up of the International Space Station built on the inside of an airplane. And that airplane does a bunch of rises and falls, it does an upside-down parabolic trajectory, and that simulates zero gravity. The other main way they simulate the zero gravity is with suspension in front of a blue screen. And they use that trick for extended periods of time, for longer than 45-second segments. But they can't move around as much. They can't do the acrobatic flips and rolls in the extended mode. So there's full motion mode where they can fully move around, and that's faked in plane. And then there's suspended or extended mode where they're suspended by wires in front of a blue screen. They don't move around as much, but they can make the scene last for a longer period of time. The extended mode is much quieter than the full motion mode. In full motion mode, you can actually hear the sound of the jet engines, the engines of the airplane. In every single scene of full motion mode, in every segment of the International Space Station, you can hear this loud sound, the sound of jet engines. You could argue that it's the air conditioning system. Not even an office air conditioner is that loud. And why is there a loud sound in every segment of the International Space Station?
It's the same thing when they land. You can hear them. Oh, wait, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I paused it. What were you going to say, BB?
No, I was just going to say, every time that the shuttle lands, you can hear the engines do a reverse. Mm-hmm. You know how they can go forward and reverse? You can hear them back it off.
Yeah.
It's obvious.
Jet engines.
Yeah, it sounds exactly the same. It's almost as if we are hearing jet engines.
Right. Yeah, it's a flying brick, remember.
Right.
Armstrong, Bart Sibrel, ABC Digital. Wanted to give you the opportunity to swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. Will you put your left hand on the Bible and swear to God that you walked on the moon? You have $5,000 cash. You can give it to charity if you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon. I have the tape.
It'd be fine.
Why don't you swear to... Why not? Why won't you do it?
What are they doing now?
Exactly.
The Earth supposedly 23.4 degrees on its axis.
Yeah, I don't remember who it was mentioning out of there, but they were pulling this up. You know, the 23.4 off of 90, 66.6. And the 66.6, 666 is all over the globe model. It's even within the curve calculator.
Even in the subatomic.
Yeah. Yeah, they love that. They love that number. It's almost like it was put there for a reason.
Symbolic.
That leaves you, of course, the occultic number, again, 66.6 degrees off. Well, Earth is supposedly orbiting around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour.
Yeah, so what a great video. Shout out to Dr. Charlie Ward for putting that together. It was quite enjoyable. A lot of gravy filled. Sweet. So, one of the things, and this has been, lots of people have probably already seen this, but I'm going to actually pull up another video real quick. Let me get rid of this on screen and pull it up. What I'm going to be pulling up is it's pretty interesting. This is one of my go-to videos that I show people, because when you start talking about this, people always bring up satellites, do they not? Well, what about satellites? And most of us, if not all of us, are on the that these are satelloons, right? That these are high altitude systems. Yeah, and even Starlink could be achieved with a group of balloons attached to each other. You could have you could have propellers on them. You could have one balloon to hold the power. It's almost like a sky train where they have different compartments that run the different logistical or electronical parts that they need to make the equipment work as they say it does. Yeah, one of my go-to things is if you type in NASA satellite launch Antarctica, this is what you will see. And it's interesting because I'm literally saying satellite launch Antarctica, and they call it a balloon launch, but it pulls up with satellite, and it just so happens to look exactly like what we are shown that satellites look like. So I'm going to pull that up for you. It's going to take a second for it to load.
They do got to give us truth amongst their lies. So,
What's it doing? There it goes. All right, there's the rocket. The rocket is launching. It is gaining altitude. It has broke the escape velocity. It's breaking
it's going
escape
around
velocity.
The curve.
17,000 miles an hour.
All right. Please ignore that looks exactly like a satellite.
You got the one where it comes back and destroys everything.
Oh, look at it swinging. Oh, gosh. They got to get that up in space. So why not with a balloon? But guys, don't you know those are just weather balloons? They just do all the exact same things that satellites would do.
Now, I got to say something on that one. Go ahead, and I'll say something when you're done. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying that, we see balloons go in front of the moon, but I've never seen anything else go in front of the moon like satellites.
See, another thing is people don't correlate this is your wind patterns way up there are correlated with all of the satelloons or satellites. You'll notice that if you put them together, you'll see they're following the wind currents.
Yep. Which then, if you put on a Gleason's map, is just a circle.
Right.
It's not this like crazy zigzag around the Earth. It's literally.
The wind changes at different altitudes. So being able to go up a little higher and change direction and back isn't impossible. It's
exactly.
Oh yeah, and the ability of like C-130s and their sky hooks. Of course I haven't seen this, but it makes logical sense. A part of that package is a parachute deployable by remote. It's losing altitude. It's gaining too much altitude. They cut the balloon. The satelloon falls down. Parachute is deployed. C-130 comes by, grabs the sky hook, pulls it inside, takes it down to service it, and they launch it back up. If that is, let's just assume, let's just say that indeed is how they're doing it, then the amount of money that they are stealing in that, right?
Exactly.
It costs them, let's say, $1 million to launch a balloon, but they're saying it costs $50 million to launch a rocket. They're putting $49 million into their pocket.
Well, Vader, look at the fact that everything that goes up costs weight. So if I have a hammer that costs a couple pounds, they literally equivalent that to like a couple million, if not a couple 100,000 to a couple million, just to send that hammer up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and here's another interesting thing about what you point. They supposedly snuck on the golf clubs that they used to play golf on the moon. How would that not throw out the trajectory, the fight plans, the fuel management? You know, when you're talking about such minute things where they got to use scotch tape and cardboard on the limb to make it work, apparently, right? That they can sneak on these golf clubs and that would have no change or effect on the vehicle is absurd in itself.
Not to mention, if you were really in that horrible, hazardous environment for so long, why would you sneak on anything? Why wouldn't you just have more food rations and everything survival needed? You know, they act like it's all fun and games up there. You know, if one of our O-rings breaks, you know, the seal breaks, we just fix it.
Just fix it.
We just put our finger in it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then when you see them,
some bubble gum.
When you see them turn around and talk about doing water droplets, they open something up and the water droplets go everywhere, and then it can, you know, gets into a ball. They aren't taking in consideration all the electronics around them.
That totally was brought up earlier. It's such a good point because one little small drop of water goes in between that button and gets the electronical components. You're talking who knows what would happen. Definitely when you're in the harsh environment of space.
I'll tell you what, if you like playing that operation game, you know, a lot like that where you touch the walls and you know.
What were you gonna say, Marsha?
I said Lost in Space. Yep. That's what we have.
Yep. Sweet. All right. This little video kind of continue on with the satellites is a satellite that crashes to the ground, you know, because it could totally get through the atmosphere and not burn up like the asteroids and meteorites do. And it just so happened that this one is attached to a balloon. So let's check this out. Guys, it's not a satellite, it's a weather balloon.
Grande essa porra, viu? Vocês não querem também do... Não, mas não vai só a luz. Não, isso aí vai normal.
Even beeping.
Location. And that's why it's beeping.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's interesting, right, about technology is, you know, 10 years ago, 5 years ago from when this video was taken. That's, you know, that's why technology is such a double-edged sword, because it helps them lie and deceive to us. But at the same time, these people are getting these images, these videos, which we wouldn't have got 5 years ago, right? How many more of these balloons would have people had evidence to, but they didn't have a camcorder. They didn't have a VCR. They didn't have a, you know, whatever it is that they needed to be able to share this type of footage. But this is high quality footage that we can see that these men are all hovering, you know, circling around this so-called satellite that's attached to the balloon. What were you going to say, BB?
Yeah, there's a problem that's coming up close to us soon. Okay, about like 3 months ago, my wife tells me that I live right on the Great Lakes. I'm right near Mackinac City, and I'm right on Superior and all those. Mm-hmm. She's telling me that during the fires that the water was covered by smoke. And I'm like, okay, that's nothing big, but she takes a couple of pictures, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait a second, why is the smoke right over the water? And that's it. And then like a day later, it's starting to dissipate, and then all of a sudden when I zoom in, now here's the kicker. As I'm zooming in, I'm seeing freighter after freighter after freighter hauling like your military vehicles. And then as I start to zoom in to get a very good picture, what does it do? Backs up and then shuts it off. So it's getting to a point where we cannot take pictures where they want us not to take them. You know what I mean? They're going to stop us. And that's proof right there for me, at least.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this a few episodes ago, where Samsung phones, if you like, let's say, get a flashlight and put it in a dark room, and then take your Samsung phone and zoom in onto the circle of the light, it will actually, your Samsung phone will replace that circle with the moon. So you can literally trick. Yeah, you can literally trick the phone into showing you a moon when you're not zooming in on the moon.
Yep.
And at the time, do you guys know if it's actually showing the real image of the moon at the time, or is it just?
I haven't looked at. That's actually really interesting to do it like let's say when it's a half moon to zoom in as opposed to when it's a full moon. That's really interesting.
Oh, it does. But since we see the face.
It
Go ahead,
does
Robert.
show the true image of the moon.
This is an image not taken by that phone.
Image, not an actual view of the moon, but it's an actual image.
Yeah.
Right, so they're taking a picture of it from somewhere else and placing it on your phone. Okay, got you.
Yep, like a filter, right? Where the TikTok, you stick out your tongue.
Exactly.
It's a puppy dog tongue. Yep. Yeah. All right. Let's finish this video about the satellite up. So yeah, really, what I'm showing, guys, is this is happening all around the world. People are stumbling into these things. And, what's the point of having these things? What's the point of having something like this if you have satellites? It reminds me of, a little while ago when the Ukrainian-Russian trend was kind of going down a little bit. America had this trend that was in the news for about a week about the Russian spy balloon. Why would Russia need a spy balloon if they have spy satellites? Why put it in a balloon that a missile can reach? Why not put it in the orbit of the Earth where a missile cannot reach? Seems kind of pointless to me, right?
Yeah, Vader Bear, the fact that we were able to see that balloon and they let us tells you that it's bogus and it's false, because they would already got that sucker out of the sky at that point, period.
Yeah, and they were saying that it was stealing Wi-Fi and digital. It was scooping up data. Well, wouldn't that data include stuff from Langley and stuff from the UN and like all the politicians and bureaucrats?
I think it was one of their balloons that got deflated, and they were like, needed an excuse for why everyone's going to see this thing.
Yep.
Well, we have another problem, and that is we have joint ventures with the space races. So that balloon would mean nothing. We're giving them all the data back and forth about where our statistics locations are, where the nuclear plants are, and everything. It makes sense. We started doing that in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. Calibrating with them. Go ahead.
And what can't China get a VPN and act like they're in America and go to Google Maps and zoom into anything that they want? Like, it's so ridiculous the dichotomies they give us.
That's what makes you know that they're working together. Period.
All right. Well, there's only 5 seconds left. So yeah, that's satellites, guys. It is just another part of it. All right, so last, I like to tie these episodes together, and I think we've been doing a pretty good job of it so far. And so we've literally just been talking about these astronauts. And last week we talked about, the Hollywood rituals that they do. We brought that into this, starting off showing you Stanley Kubrick, a director in Hollywood that made 2001: A Space Odyssey, and talking about his experience and dealing with the fact that he made the Apollo 11 mission landing video, the moon landing video. He made all that and couldn't talk about it. And even talked about Neil and Buzz and their kind of reaction to being a part of this hoax. Well, this is the Scottish Rite nmj.org. This is a Freemason website, and we're going to read this little article together. So, from Buzz Aldrin to John Glenn, many notable astronauts and American heroes also belong to the world's oldest fraternity. Masons are men on a quest to become special boys, part of something much bigger than themselves. Constantly seeking deeper insight into the mysteries of the universe through their pal Satan, I'm adding, guys. I'm ad-lib. That's not what the article says, but it might as well. This curiosity and pursuit of foolish wisdom, knowledge, is a driving force that binds brethren together. It is also why Freemasonry has seen its fair share of pioneering men within its ranks throughout the centuries. Among the intellectual titans like Buzz Aldrin that have graced the lodge rooms across the globe, few have taken their path to the heights, literally, as these brothers have ventured among the stars. Read to learn. Okay, so we got John Glenn Jr., a 33-degree Mason. We got Colonel Buzz Aldrin, because he's always drunk because of the grief that he feels for lying all the time.
Right.
The first Mason on the moon and a member of the Apollo 11 expedition, Brother Edwin Eugene Aldrin Jr. has an extraordinary journey as a man and as a Freemason. Piloted by Brother Aldrin himself, the first moonwalk was a momentous occasion for all humanity and a proud day for Freemasonry. They are proud of deception. We got Gordo Cooper Jr., Freemason. We got Don F. Heisley, a Freemason. We got Virgil Gus Grimson, a Freemason. James Benson Irwin.
He's here in Colorado.
A Freemason. Edgar Dean Mitchell, a Freemason. And I saw here, guys, Demolay International. He was a member of Demolay International and was even induced into the Hall of Fame. But interesting enough, I was like, there's more than this. But if you look here, there's this little special deputation. In fact, Aldrin received a special deputation from the Grand Master of Texas, J. Guy Smith, to open a representation of the Grand Lodge of Texas on the moon and establish Masonic territorial jurisdiction there for the Great Lodge of Texas. He carried the deputation to the moon on the famous landing in 1969. So we were just talking about the golf clubs, but this ship has enough weight to bring this special jurisdiction so that the Freemasons can claim jurisdiction and territory on the moon. They are crazy guys. So I clicked on this special deputation thing, this link right here, and it brought up this. It says freemasoninformation.com. It says Masonic astronauts, these intrepid rocket men venturing where few have gone before, are true heroes. They are indeed famous Freemasons, but perhaps more famous for their adventures above the horizon. So we got Colonel, again, Buzz Aldrin, drinks too much of his depression. We got Gordo, Don F. Heasley, John Herschel Glenn, Lieutenant Colonel Virgil Gus, Colonel James Brown, Captain Edgar Dean, Captain Walter Marty, Lieutenant Thomas Pattern, Captain Paul Joseph White.
Whites?
Like David Weiss? Whites?
You're right.
But yeah, look at it. These guys are so excited to be part of the thing. They took most of these photos like before they went on their mission, so they're all like happy about it. And then look at their faces when they come back. They're like, "That's not what I signed up for. I didn't want to just stand in a green cube my whole time." So they love it. They love it. And of course we have a connection here. I just wanted to read some of these things. So Greg Stewart on this said it would seem Neil Armstrong Jr. was not a Freemason and is often confused with Neil Armstrong Sr., who was an active Mason. According to the Grand Lodge of Freemason records, as cited at the Grand Lodge of British Columbia and Yukon Air Force, I'm guessing, and A&M here, and then someone's like apparently, or wait, but this one. Chuckabird. These guys never went to the moon and are total frauds. Absolutely. And then you have someone, no, Buzz Aldrin was initiated, passed, and raised in Montclair Lodge number 144 in Montclair, New Jersey. He transferred to Texas. Like, think about these guys are literally arguing about
He's
whether
gotta be
they're...
a Freemason.
Now, I got a question for that. Is how many people that went to the moon weren't Masons?
That's an interesting. I don't know off the top of my head. Not all of them, but
I think one of them, I'm pretty sure. All but one.
All but one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And real quick, I want to point out real quick, Mercury. Oh, let me make this bigger. Mercury 8, Sigma 7, Gemini. What is that? 11, Apollo 7, Gemini, Apollo. So like even the name, all their names, like they're very familiar with these names of these gods, and you know they probably are like, hey, we're Special Boy 11, and they love that stuff. But so yeah, like obviously we have Freemasons, a secret society, right in the mix. Right? Buzz Aldrin, you know, the famous dude, of course, is a Freemason. And so, well, guys, they're just Freemasons. They're just part of a club. It's not like the whole idea of space and all the people involved in quote unquote making this mission involved. It's not like they had anything to do with the occult. It's not like they were a part of any mystery religions or secret societies. Of course not. But I am going to show you all this little video real quick, provided by Kyle. So let's take a little look.
If not, they're useful idiots. Continue.
While a decade of NASA's spaceflight wizardry enthralled a nation of television viewers almost night.
Let's give it a little time to buffer. For whatever reason, man, it's like right towards the end of the streams, it's just they start grabbing. It's like.
The truth of NASA's deeply dark occult origins was discreetly hidden from public awareness. Origins linked, perhaps, to the most wicked of occult practitioners in modern history. None other than self-proclaimed Satanist Aleister Crowley himself. This uncanny convergence of science and mysticism was facilitated by the rocket pioneer genius and founder of Caltech's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, John Whiteside Parsons. In the years just prior to the Second World War, Jack Parsons and a handful of his Caltech buddies were working to perfect solid-fuel rocket propulsion. Parsons' rocket project limped along on a shoestring budget until his efforts drew serious attention from the Defense Department. Thanks to the war, his research expanded into a major rocket design enterprise that would become known as the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, JPL, which in turn would develop a vital association with more advanced space rocket design proposed by the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. But Jack Parsons was possessed with extraordinary ideas that sought far loftier heights than mere space rocket designs. Parsons was fascinated by the occult, and in 1941 he was to join the Pasadena chapter of Ordo Templi Orientis, Aleister Crowley's secret society. Not long after, Parsons took over the Agape Lodge himself. Observing Parsons' natural aptitude for ritual sex magic, called thelema, The membership saw him as a potential successor to the great beast Aleister Crowley himself, whom Parsons addressed as Most Beloved Father.
No. Oh, golly.
Born on October 12, 1875 in Warwickshire, England, Aleister Crowley was an English occultist, ceremonial magician, poet, painter, novelist, and mountaineer. He was responsible for founding the religion and philosophy of sexual magic, Thelema, in which role he identified himself as the prophet entrusted with guiding humanity into the Aeon of Horus in the early 20th century. In 1898, he joined the esoteric Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, where he was trained in ceremonial magic. Like many of that era, Crowley was something of a crusading militant intellectual, determined to break down the conventions of accepted social morality. Later he traveled to Mexico and then India to study Hindu and Buddhist practices. In 1904 he married Rose Edith Kelly, and they honeymooned in Cairo, Egypt. In the Great Pyramid, Crowley conducted an occult ritual intending to access supernatural powers. The black magic ritual held in the Great Pyramid marked an unexpected turning point.
What was that, Robert?
Well, I was watching the stream and it looked like it wasn't playing. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's back on there again.
Yeah, it's silly the way that I have to stream it. When I click off and I try to do anything in Streamlabs,
it pauses, it grabs it like that. Now,
that's silly.
Robert, every once in a while, if it starts doing that for me, the first thing I do, just in case, I'm not saying you didn't do anything wrong because I think you were right, but I will turn, like everybody else, I'll disconnect, come back up. And because a lot of times I figure out it's me and not them. Well, it's Discord.
Yeah.
Let me say that right. It's Discord, okay?
Well, I was looking at the YouTube, and I made sure that I was on time.
In Crowley's life. The following day he recounted, Rose got into a strange state of mind. I had never seen anything like it before. She kept on repeating, dreamily yet intensely, "They are waiting for you. They are waiting for you." When Crowley asked Rose who was waiting, she kept repeating that it was Horus, an Egyptian god. Rose knew nothing of magic and even less of Egyptology, making it highly unlikely that she was receiving a message from the gods. But to test what Rose was saying, he took her to the Cairo Museum. And although Rose had never visited the museum before, she rushed through the rooms filled with ancient artifacts, until suddenly she stopped dead before case number 666. "There he is," she insisted. Within the case was the image of the god she claimed to have seen in her vision, the god Horus. Over the next 3 days, at precisely the same time, an unearthly voice dictated to Crowley the Book of the Law, the book that would become the Bible of his new religion.
So sick. I want to talk something. I want to talk about this real quick.
Following their fateful ritual, an unearthly voice dictated to Crowley the Book of the Law, the book that would become
let's
the
pause
Bible.
this real quick. Okay, the book that would become the Bible of his new religion. Now, this is a very interesting side from a lot of us as we are Torah observant, and we look at the Book of Law, the Torah, as something to guide us. And, I'm going to get a little bit into theology here, but interestingly enough, in their Book of the Law, it's do what thou wilt. And in seemingly in modern Christianity, that's what we've been given, right? It doesn't matter if you sin, all your sin, past, present, and future, are forgiven. So go ahead and do as thou wilt. That's exactly what we got going on.
Of his new religion. Following their fateful ritual in the Great Pyramid, Crowley's wife Rose mysteriously proclaimed that the equinox of the gods has come. The alleged superhuman intelligence contacted by Aleister Crowley during his visit to Egypt was named Aiwass, who declared, "I am a god of war and vengeance," and then dictated to Crowley a work called the Book of the Law, which prophesied wars and revolutions, leading to the collapse of Christian civilizations and the dawn of the Aeon of Horus. Crowley's Bible also proclaims the law of Thelema.
Oh, dang it. I did not mean to do that.
I was.
But real quick, look at that. Tetragrammaton.
Yep.
We were just talking about this last week when we were talking about the Hollywood rituals that they do. So it's right there again.
Yep.
So it's seemingly there's a connection, between the two. So let's keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Leading to the collapse of Christian civilizations and the dawn of the Aeon of Horus. Crowley's Bible also proclaims the law of Thelema, usually summed up in 3 mantra-like verses. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. And every man and every woman is a star. According to another Crowley student, Kenneth Grant, Aiwass is an extraterrestrial from Sirius, the stellar representation of the Egyptian goddess Isis. Years later, from January through March of 1918, Crowley began another series of sexual magic ceremonies in New York City called the Amalantra Workings, in a Central Park West apartment to intentionally open a portal of entry allowing demonic and other similar entities a passageway to access our earthly world reality. Crowley was convinced that seeking contact with supernatural beings offered the only salvation to the human race. My observation of the universe convinces me that there are beings of intelligence and power of a far higher quality than anything we can conceive of as human, that they are not necessarily based on the cerebral and nervous structures that we know, and that the one and only chance for mankind to advance as a whole is for individuals to make contact with such beings. His ritual in New York established contact with an entity called Lam. Lam being a Tibetan word for pathway or pathfinder. Lam was considered to be of interdimensional origin, which was the term then for extraterrestrial. Crowley's drawing of Lam bears a striking resemblance to what has become commonly referred to as the gray aliens. Slight-bodied, big-headed, large dark-eyed mannequin creatures which are primarily an American phenomenon. And it is interesting to note that all the Lam workings were done in America. Reports of these UFO-associated entities later became prevalent in the popular culture of the 1980s thanks to Whitley Strieber's best-selling book, Communion, as well as many of the Hollywood alien movies that would follow. The rift in between the spaces of the stars, created by the Amalantra working, opened a gateway through which Lam and other extra-cosmic influences could enter the known universe, and more specifically, our Earth world reality. But according to occultists involved in such things, the portal...
It's almost like all these things are connected. Does that not bring you back that whole imagery of the abduction? Alien. Well, it bring to Alien, and then
Absolutely.
even to Vicky Joy, right? Where you see this guy going through this thing, he can't move. He has this being standing over him. All this stuff is connected, guy, and it got everybody, and that's exactly why we're doing the episodes in this order, because it's all tied in together. And of course, we're bringing this here. We talked about Parsons and JP Laboratories. And they're, in his connection to Aleister Crowley, we see the connections of the, what we've talked about before is how they sold us a mythology all those things are fiction, and then they're slowly through the science, they're mixing back in this pagan, this occult, this ritualistic things that they're doing, including trying to summon a pathway, a portal for these demons, these interdimensional beings, to do it. And Aleister Crowley's like, hey, the only way we can do it is if each individual person gets in contact with these beings. He's trying to get people to summon demons into their lives. It's quite insane. We're gonna play a little bit more of this, guys. It's past the 2 hours, but this has been quite enjoyable. So we're gonna wrap this up and then say our goodbyes and start the after show. So let's play a little bit more of this.
Has since widened, thanks in part to additional hermetic tinkering by Jack Parsons.
Hermetic tinkering.
By 1945, Jack Parsons was high priest of Crowley's Agape Lodge in Pasadena, where he was joined by L. Ron Hubbard, later founder of Scientology. Impressed by Hubbard's exuberance and energy, Jack wrote in a letter to Crowley, "I deduce that he was in direct touch with some higher intelligence. He is the most thelemic person I have ever met, and is in complete accord with our principles." He was soon initiated into the secrets of the Ordo Templi Orientis, and made Parsons' magical partner. Together, Parsons and Hubbard hatched a sordid sex magic scheme called Babylon Working to bring forth the Antichrist and Apocalypse. Babylon meaning Gateway of the Gods. But even Crowley expressed his misgivings about this project, stating in a letter, "Apparently Parsons and Hubbard, or somebody, is producing a moonchild. I get fairly frantic when I contemplate the idiocy of these louts." A moonchild is a human vehicle for a demon seed, not unlike Rosemary's Baby. From the diaries of the participants, it was also clear that they were not as adept as Crowley in the closings of portals. What their amateur efforts may have accomplished was the drastic enlargement and ripping of an existing magical portal, and the subsequent non-closure of it. Perhaps the rip they created was not possible to close. In any event, the modern UFO era began exactly a year and a half later,
Can you pause
on
that?
June 24th, 1947, with Kenneth Arnold.
All right, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, right around the same time, most people here probably know this, but other people watching probably don't. Whenever they did a rocket launch or stuff like that, they did another thing that they call sex magic. I don't want to really get into that, but they would do that at the same time. They were hoping that they would create a, what's the name of it?
Stargate?
No. They're using your seed and the woman's seed to bring in
a golem.
Yes.
A homunculus.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
golem,
they've
yeah.
been trying to do that, and they figured that they could bring out the next Antichrist through that and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to
they
throw
also
that in there.
claim they also claimed there was a tie to what they claim are nuclear weapons and how they use the energy of those to make this golem thing. So
There you go.
all of them tied together.
Yeah, it's all tied together. You know, you even said, crafting the hermeneutics. This is alchemy. This is magic. This is sorcery, and they tell you right there.
Are we going to end on a nice note?
Yes, we will. So go check this video out, guys. Aeon of Horus, the occult history, if you want to look more into it. Of course, next week we are going to be talking about secret societies. So this will line up exactly what we've kind of ended with today. But guys, like Marcia said, let's end this on a positive note. There is so much deception. There is so much that is put in front of us that is just absurdly wrong and incorrect and craftedly so. But you know, that's why us here at Circle of the Earth, why we are so keen on using the scriptures as our guide stone, you know, within this world. And you know, a lot of us came from conspiracy theories and eventually landed, you know, on the true Earth conspiracy. And you know, me personally, that is one of the things that opened my eyes to looking at the scriptures and as not just metaphorical spiritual, but something I can lean on and trust in reality. And we see what, you know, what happens with these people who are sorcerers, people who are magicians do not inherit the kingdom of earth. So if you are into that stuff, if you are into space, you know, we're not attacking you. We're just saying, you know, look at your scriptures, take the Father's word, you know, as he gives it. You don't need to, you know, interpret it to mix, you know, the scriptures with these pagan beliefs and, you know, of pagan origin. And so, you know, we are, even though we are presented with all of this, these lies and deceptions, you know, the amount of lies is quite insane, right? You got to give them some props that they have been able to muddy the water so much that it makes it really hard for people to find the truth. But those, we say this all the time, you know, those who are true seekers, there's no barrier, there's no lie, there's no deception that is going to stop a true seeker, because they're going to keep prodding, they're going to keep checking the, you know, the fence line and making sure that there's not any holes. And if, of course, we find a hole, we're going to share that, we're going to exploit it, and we're going to go around the barricade and continue down the path of truth. So we hope that all for you as well, that y'all would seek the truth, no matter where it leads you, and that you would lean on the Holy Scriptures as a cornerstone to start building your you know, your temple on to the Father. So Tyler Porter, one quick Tyler Porter, great quote, brother. He said, "Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have the right to the tree of life and may enter through the great gates into the city." That's Revelation 22:14. Thank you for that, brother. TD said Led Zeppelin bought and lived in Crowley's house. Yeah, insane. Yeah, insane. Yeah, I've heard that Emissary of Elohim, that Barbara Bush is Aleister Crowley's the moon child, his Babylon working or whatever it was, or the one before, I don't remember. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed the stream. I hope y'all got to laugh along with us. And we're going to go ahead and say our goodbyes. I'll give everyone a chance to kind of say anything else they want, as well as their goodbyes, and we'll get out of here. So, BV, you're up first.
Sorry about that. I apologize. No, Marcia, the only reason why I went where I did was because that's the actual factual proof. I wasn't like trying to slide this off to make it seem that way. No, this is factual stuff that people need to know, because they don't realize what's going on behind the scenes that's creating all this. So I wasn't trying to. Okay. No, I'm just letting you know. I wasn't doing that. Okay. Okay. Other than that, hey, thank you for letting me on. I'm sorry I was late. I always enjoy picking you guys' brains. You guys are some of the most intelligent people that I know. And I know that if I give something out there, it spins off and gets just better as we go. So I just say thank you. Keep it up, guys. God bless you.
Indeed. God bless you too. All right, Marcia, you're up, sister.
Oh, well, goodbye.
That one.
I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week, right?
Oh, yeah. And Robert?
All right. Good night, everybody. See you after the show for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Link in the description for the Discord if you'd like to join the after show. We get to be a little bit looser with our language because we don't got grabble or two breathing down our necks. So definitely check that out. Jump over to you, Kyle.
Yeah, everyone. So I hope this has made it clear that Satan's hand has been in NASA in the heliocentric model since the beginning, and his fingerprint is all over it. We know what's good, we know what's evil, we know what's God's, we know what's Satan's. And so I hope this becomes clear to anyone who may be new to this information to maybe investigate what they're taught a little more so they don't fall into this side of ignorance that might be supporting a satanic system. Other than that, hope everyone's blessed.
Absolutely.
Good.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. It was so fun. Again, please like, share, subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. If you have any, if you want to support the channel, if you want to join the conversation, links are in the description. And as always, until next time, guys, remember that ABBA loved you first. Good night, everyone.
Peace.
It's your glory, conceal the mystery. You give us the honor to search a matter. You raise up a standard to beat back our enemy. You establish this realm, and like a scroll you spread it out. Dig deep, search it out. Dig deep, seek it out. Dig deep, go on and walk it out. Dig deep, I give you oil to fill up your cup. I give you enough to fill up your lamps. Yeah, you keep them trimmed, you keep them neat, you keep on worshiping and praising till you're at his feet. Oh, King Yeshua.